You crack open a pistachio shell, pop the green nut into your mouth, and reach for another. The whole motion takes maybe 3 seconds. You've probably never thought about why that shell was already split open for you. But here's something that might change how you see that split. That crack isn't manufactured. It happens naturally on the tree as the nut matures. The kernel inside grows faster than the shell can contain it. Farmers call it the smile. And getting that smile to appear at exactly the right moment, then preserving it through harvest, drying, and shipping, is a process that takes years of patience and a 24-hour race against time. Pistachio trees are among the most demanding crops on Earth. A newly planted tree produces nothing edible for 7 to 10 years. Even after maturity, the trees follow a frustrating pattern called alternate bearing. 1 year heavy with nuts, the next year almost bare. Farmers plant, knowing they won't see meaningful income for nearly a decade. The trees need specific conditions that few places can provide. Hot, dry summers. Cold winters with at least 1,000 hours below 7 degrees Celsius. Low humidity during harvest. Only a handful of regions qualify: Iran's Central Plateau, California's San Joaquin Valley, southeastern Turkey, and parts of Syria and Afghanistan. But here's the complication that makes pistachio farming even harder. Pistachio trees are dioecious. Male and female flowers grow on separate trees. One male tree can pollinate up to 25 females, but only if the wind cooperates. Farmers plant males strategically throughout orchards, spacing them to maximize pollen drift. No bees involved. No backup plan. Just wind and timing. When conditions align, a mature female tree produces 20 to 30 kilograms of nuts. When they don't, entire harvests fail. The patience required to farm pistachios borders on absurd. Here's the thing nobody tells you about pistachio harvest. The moment a pistachio reaches maturity, a countdown begins. Farmers have roughly 24 hours to get the nut from tree to processing facility before quality degrades. After that, the hull starts releasing tannins that stain the shell, turning it from cream-colored to blotchy brown. Stained shells mean lower prices, rejected shipments, and wasted years of waiting. Harvest happens in late August through September. Workers use mechanical shakers that grip the trunk and vibrate at specific frequencies, causing ripe nuts to fall onto tarps spread beneath the canopy. The sound is violent, like a brief earthquake contained to a single tree. In smaller operations, workers still beat branches with padded poles. Once collected, the pistachios move immediately to processing facilities, often located within the orchard itself. First comes hulling. The outer hull, a fleshy layer surrounding the shell, must be removed within hours. Industrial hullers use rubber rollers that squeeze the hull away without cracking the shell inside. The timing is critical. Wait too long and the hull bonds to the shell, making clean removal impossible. After hulling, the nuts enter massive drying chambers. Traditional methods use sun-drying on concrete platforms for 3 to 5 days. Modern facilities use forced air dryers at 60 to 70 degrees Celsius, finishing in 12 to 18 hours. The target moisture content is around 5%, dry enough to prevent mold, wet enough to avoid brittle shells. Then comes the sorting that determines everything. Machines separate naturally split shells from closed ones. Open shells command premium prices. Closed shells, called non-splits, get mechanically cracked or processed into kernels for baking and ice cream. Color sorters remove stained or damaged nuts. Size graders separate small from large. But the strangest part isn't the harvest or the sorting. It's that the green color you associate with pistachios is actually a sign of freshness, and it fades. Pistachio kernels get their green from chlorophyll, the same pigment in leaves. After harvest, exposure to light and oxygen gradually breaks down that chlorophyll. The longer pistachios sit on shelves, the more yellow they become. Deep green means recently harvested. Pale yellow-green means months in storage. That vibrant green in premium pistachios isn't added. It's preserved through careful processing and quick-to-market supply chains. Here's where the story flips. Iran invented pistachio cultivation over 3,000 years ago and dominated global production for most of history. Persian pistachios were legendary, smaller, intensely flavored, deeply green. Then California entered the market in the 1970s with a single variety called Kerman, bred for large size and high yields. By 2020, the United States became the world's largest producer, overtaking Iran. The ancient Persian nut now grows primarily in American soil. California's Central Valley produces over 400,000 metric tons annually, more than Iran and Turkey combined. So next time you reach for a bag of pistachios, here's what to actually notice. Check the shell color. Cream-colored shells with minimal staining indicate careful processing and quick hulling. Brown spots mean the hulls sat too long. Not harmful, but a sign of lower-grade handling. Look at the split. A wide, natural opening means the nut matured fully on the tree. Narrow splits or mechanical cracks suggest early harvest or forced opening after drying. Examine the kernel color. Deep green indicates freshness and proper storage. Yellow-green means extended shelf time. The difference is chlorophyll degradation, but it correlates with flavor intensity. Consider the origin. Iranian pistachios tend smaller with concentrated flavor. California pistachios are larger, milder, more consistent. Turkish pistachios fall between, medium-sized with distinctive sweetness. What you're eating took a decade to grow, a day to harvest, and hours to process. Every split shell represents a tree that waited 7 years to produce its first nut, then raced against a 24-hour clock to reach your hand. Next time you crack open a pistachio, you're not just eating a snack. You're finishing a process that started a decade ago on a tree that might produce nothing next year. That's the process. We reveal how things are actually made, one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.